had to live a very huge chunk of your life in the limelight.
I still
very
do.
huge.
You know, someone yesterday asked me if I were to return in another life, I don't know which one, what would I be? I told them definitely not someone in the limelight. All right.
Husband, father, journalist, and Ugandan at heart. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Canary Mugume. How are you?
Thank you for having me, Q.
All right, so in this show, we're hoping to learn from your life lessons. I'll start off with finance. What's your biggest lesson in finance?
Give your money to the woman. Most women, at least those in my life, I think they have stronger abilities to manage finances than the men. I've seen that firsthand. Has taken me a huge time and effort to say, okay.
Okay, to allow and say, okay.
Fine. But you give your money to your woman and you oversee it.
Okay.
You oversee the management.
Okay.
She does the management, you oversee the management.
Okay, I'd like to reinforce this message. Give your money to the woman. I think it's a very important message. So when you say the woman, are you talking about the wife, the mother, the sister? Which woman in your life are you giving your resources to and watching over?
You know, either way.
Yeah.
I think that for women, I do not know. It's something that you cannot explain, but it's something that just has to do with that gender, whether it's your mother or your wife. It's they get it. They know how to make sure that money, is able to, one, manage a home, two, grow you, and three, grow all of you as a family. Disclaimer, I'm not an expert at this. I'm just living my own experience.
We're learning from your experiences, so that's not a problem. Let's go into lesson number 4. At lesson number 4, friendships. What have you learned? What's your biggest lesson in friendship?
So friends, just be intentional.
Yeah.
Just be intentional. You can actually even figure out someone from a distance and figure out, I'm going to make this person my friend. Friends are not the boys you catch up drinks with once in a while. Friends are not the people who call you maybe once in a while to check on you and whatever. I think friendship is intentional. It has to be part of your life. Yeah, it has to be.
You have to make a deliberate effort.
It has to be deliberate.
Okay.
You have to be intentional on who you choose will be your friend.
Yeah.
And if it's vice versa, I do not know how friendship works if it's just one-sided.
Okay.
Fate will never choose who's going to become your friend or not. Otherwise, you're going to end up getting hurt and
you let the wind direct you, the wind will disorganize you.
Yeah, you might find yourself in a trench.
I hear you.
So what happens is that I think for me, for the kind of life that I've lived, I've had to embrace in a lot of people in my life, but eventually choose who is going to be my friend or not.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have acquaintances, you have people you say hi. I do not know how to explain that, but there's levels of friendship. So someone will ask you, is that your friend? And you say, it's a hi friend. Meaning they're actually not your friend.
Just an acquaintance.
So there's no friendship there.
Yeah.
There's no friendship.
Yeah.
I've also found actually friendship in family.
Wow.
Yeah. Just because someone is related to you does not mean that they cannot be your friend or your closest friend, actually.
You've talked about friendship being intentional. What's the longest friendship you've had so far?
I think my longest friendship, like I said, could be family.
Oh, so forever, basically.
Yeah, for all my 30 years. Yeah.
Okay. Lesson number 3. Lesson number 3, employment. I know for a lot of us, we're curious to know how that world is for you, because that's where most of us know you from. We know you from, life behind the big screen, and we know you from TV. We know you from your tape measure, and all of that still goes back to your job.
Unnecessary.
There has to be some pettiness in there, please. So tell us about employment. What's been your biggest lesson in employment?
You do not get awarded or a better contract or promoted because of hard work.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, it's a myth. It's a fallacy. Good pay, promotions come out of building of relationships at work.
Oh, So it's not about just how much you do and how much you
No.
work at it. It's about who you know.
I know people who put in a lot of work, but that's not it.
I agree with you, because there's actually a saying to that effect. Your network is your net worth. So I guess it does completely speak true to that the people you know, the people you have relationships with are directly proportionate and equivalent to just how much you'll grow. So I completely agree with that.
Let me put it in perspective. Just put aside my kind of industry that I work in, which is the media. Let's get into the gig industry.
Yeah.
It's not the best models that get the jobs.
Yeah.
It's not the best photographers. This person that you know, what sort of relationship have you created with them? So if I have a gig, I know the guys on my speed dial. If there's a photographer or either influencer or an MC or moderator, I know who the next person is going to be on my speed dial.
Yeah.
As opposed to, let me look at the list. Who
See
rates
their qualifications.
best? Who rates best?
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. I hope that's...
Absolutely. We're 3 lessons in. We have 3 lessons to go. We'll be right back. This is Rated You. We're unboxing life with Canary. Life doesn't come with any instruction manual, so I'm taking this opportunity to learn lessons from those who've experienced life and see if those can apply to me as well. Do let me know if any of these experiences, these lessons are relatable for you, or what lessons you've learned all across life. On the show today with me is Canary Mugume, and he's telling us his life lessons. He's already shared with us his lessons on friendship, on employment, on finance, and now we're getting into lesson number 2. Lesson number 2 is on family. It could be the family you come from. It could be the family you create. What's your biggest lesson that you've learned from family?
Family is family. I think that's my biggest lesson. Let me unpack that for you. When everything is gone, when you've been ridiculed enough on the internet, when you've received all the disappointing emails on how you cannot get through to your next step, or when something goes wrong on stage and you've had a really bad show, either on the news or on a conference, family is the only thing you'll always go back to.
When the lights are off, the camera is off, and it's now just you.
Yes, family is the only thing you'll always go back to.
Have you ever had a moment like that
Oh,
where
so
you
many
felt?
of those.
Tell me, please. Tell me all about it.
So many of those. I know moments when I've been, praised on stage and blah blah. You've achieved this. You've got into this level, and it's amazing, man. I don't know. You've pulled off the best interview ever, and everyone is talking about it on the internet and praising you, giving all these praises. You get back home, family reminds you that you must be humble.
Family does
You're going
know
to
how
enter that
humble you.
house.
Yeah.
You're going to take off those shoes.
Yeah.
You're going to sit in that chair and be a family man.
We're not totally sereb.
No. I wanted to bring it in another perspective so that people don't
See
think
how
it's
real it becomes.
Yeah, how real it becomes, even when you're on the biggest stage.
Yeah.
And all the cameras, like you said, are switched off and the lights are off. You'll enter that house and you're a family man, and family always humble you.
Yeah. And you go from being award-winning journalist to being Canary.
So let me now flip it the other way.
Yeah.
I've had moments where I felt like, you know what, I should maybe just not take my negative feelings about maybe the day or how the day has gone. Just maybe go stay away in a hotel for 2 days.
Yeah.
I'll come back feeling better. But then I remind myself, there's family at home.
Yeah.
There's family there's family that is waiting to see me at the end of the day.
Yeah.
There's family that is hoping to play a role in me feeling better.
Yeah. And this is family that wants you better or not.
Yes.
They want you as you are.
And with no judgment whatsoever.
Let's talk about some of the things you've been through, for example. Recently, we've seen moments when you're out in the field and you're surrounded by gunfire and things like this. After those moments, have you ever had moments of doubt where you sit and say, but what am I doing? Let me go home and sit with my people.
Yeah. I've had such moments in the field when I keep surviving narrowly. And the comments online, like, how did you even... How?
Yeah.
The Kawempe incident is just recent. These have happened since 2017. There are pictures on my Instagram that I've never deleted. You see police running that way with a gun. You see me running this way with a microphone. just a resemblance of how many times I've survived. I've had, people trail me either in the middle of the night or early morning.
That must
or
be
during the
scary.
day. Yeah. And when you talk about these things and, people, you shut up, you're a state agent, we know. Or, oh my God, that was scary, but thank God you're here. And all these comments must be nice to hear. But when you go back home, there's family that will comfort you and say, you know what, man, you'll even hear suggestions and maybe you should quit this job and do something else.
Because you're looking and saying, I could have left my family. I could have said goodbye.
Yeah, and for family to
moment.
them is, we could have lost a husband, a father, a son. Yeah. We could have lost. It's possible that he could have left home when I've just noted his tie, and maybe none of the things I noted returned home. Just returned in ash.
There's a very high likelihood. I remember when we were still working together, I remember there's a time you traveled to Ukraine, and I was like, see this one.
My baby was 3 months old.
Can you, how, why? I never really understood it. And of course, these are the things on the other side that we don't see. We only see what we receive, and we sit and we say, okay, he's given us the story. But what about you on that side? Where do you have now a difference between the passion and your own self-interest? Is there any such thing as your own self-interest when it comes to what you do and your work?
To me, there's no, the line is blurred, because I remember the actual date of travel to Ukraine to cover the war was the date which was the expected delivery date for my wife, for my first son.
Oh my God.
So I had to change and decided to travel, I think a month or two later. I did not mention to her that I was actually going to travel to cover the war, and I just decided to keep quiet. And then towards even when I made the changes, and then the baby was born, and then it's 1 month, and I was like, okay, I think it's time I need to go.
You need to go.
I had to break the news.
Oh my God.
Painful as it was.
Yeah.
I remember getting to the airport and sending flowers and saying, you know what, sorry, I had to go.
I know. I'll tell you what, I don't think any woman would want to be in those shoes at that moment. You just had your baby and you have to say bye to your husband, and he's going into a high risk area. Yeah. You don't even know if he's, and of course we'd like to imagine you'll come back, but you don't know that.
There was a lot of emotions in that short period. One is you're going into a very high risk area. But two, she was home alone with the baby, the support, the waking up in the night, the burping and all that. Yeah. I had done that for a month, and breaking that abruptly was going to be very hard. And she tells me a year later that she actually suffered depression for the next 3 months.
Oh, sweetheart.
This I did not know until a year later. But on the other side, there's also I'm going to describe myself as a journalist who has done this and that if I do not take the risks of, for example, covering such stories. So,
for you, it's a balance. High reward as well, and you need the risk to get to the reward. So it's a sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Yeah. You have to do it.
Yeah.
Wow. So let's get into lesson number 1, and I'm very glad that you talked about her, because now we get to see your lesson in relationships. What's your biggest lesson in relationships?
My biggest lesson in relationships is love is infinite.
That's a lot of Luzungu. Yeah. Give me a proper breakdown. For me, a proper Ugandan girl, help me understand what that means.
So I'm sure, for every relationship or marriage or family, whatever, there's ups and downs.
Oh yes, I know that very well.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
You said that with a lot of emphasis.
A lot of emphasis, my friend. I have been married 8 years. I know it very, very well.
Yeah. So it's incredible how love in just 1 hour can seem like it has been soiled. Yeah. And in the next hour or the next day, it's at its peak.
Yeah.
So I just get to learn that love is infinite. It's like it's you cannot exhaust it.
Yeah. Is this your way of saying don't let those low moments tarnish the high moments or what could be good, and vice versa?
Or don't let the high moments not or
Blind
blind you
yeah.
of how you're supposed to feel in the low moments. It's vice versa.
Okay.
Yeah, love is infinite. That it can. It's like a river. Like it keeps flowing.
It keeps flowing. Yeah.
How you choose to make it flow, it's entirely up to you. You can either go with you,
Yeah.
or you can control it and put it to use.
I know you've been together a very, very long time, and she's seen you grow into who you are today. Is she happy with, for example, some of the things that we've talked about, like your career, which pushes you into dangerous places? Is she happy with that? And does a partner's opinion matter in aspects like that?
Maybe you should ask her if she's happy.
You'd know if she's asking you to leave that. You'd know.
Just a couple of times when things have happened, then she's asked me to leave the profession. But
yeah.
I've seen her on stage with me, pick awards. I've seen her wake me up in the morning to make sure I meet my appointments to work. I've seen her.
So she supports you regardless of how she feels.
Yeah, regardless.
I love that.
I've seen her allow me to leave her in the middle of the night to go and cover a story of someone who has been shot.
I can't relate. I'm ashamed because I can't relate. I can tell you, I can't relate.
But you asked me something about the opinions. Yes, they do matter.
They do. Okay.
Just a matter of discussion. Yeah. Please go on.
I love that, because you see why she's a very important part of this discussion is because the kind of life that you lead in the limelight and whatnot has affected her as well. Yeah, and you know, she's had to deal with that as well. For example, I know there's aspects of privacy that she hasn't been able to get because, you know, she gives birth and everybody has to get a picture of her and the baby. There's a lot of crossovers between you and your work and what you do in your life and her life. How are you two coping with that? How do you cope with that? Do you prepare her for it? Does she?
First, she was in the limelight before I was. So.
Oh, okay. So she knows these things.
she got prepared by force. But I think the lesson here was that this is the life that we've chosen.
Yeah.
Just find a way how to maneuver it. Sometimes it's hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard. You've been to places and people are taking pictures of our babies and you're like, hey, I'm sorry, we do not appreciate that.
Yeah.
Could you kindly please delete that?
Very intrusive.
We met at the airport when people are moving by and they record it. Don't know what that video is going to be used for.
Yeah.
Even if it's just for fun. You just want to scream at the pastor like, can you let me be?
Let me live.
Yeah. But also it's been moments when we've had to just make decisions like, you know what, because of the high risk ahead of us, because you're known, I am known, you know, let's just do away with this, with ABCD.
Yeah.
Tough decisions, but
you make them together.
Yeah, I make them together.
I like that. I love that. Now, you've given us your 5 biggest life lessons. We've talked about everything from finance all the way down to relationships. And now, tell us the code you live by. What's that one thing that runs your life, that directs your life in everything, in every area of your life? What's your biggest life lesson all across the board?
My biggest life lesson would be, if I made it here, then I can make it anywhere.
Nice.
Because I think we live life looking at what next. Done with this, so what next?
Yeah. It's a carousel. Next.
Rarely do we actually look back and see how far we've come and what we've achieved. So for me, it's like a kind of like affirmation in my life. Like, just look back. Many years ago, this is what you're in church praying for. You wanted to be on TV. You wanted to inspire lives,
and
now you are. And you really cannot be disappointed over something small that just happened. Just look back on the 12 years of your journalism career and think, is this actually where you dreamt you would be at 30 or not? The answer would be no. So then you have done well. Yeah. Just go grab a good meal.
Absolutely. I'm all for that.
So if you moved all this journey and you made it here, then you absolutely can make it anywhere.
Perfect. I love that. And for me, that is definitely a point at which I'd like to put a pin in it and say, this is our message of the day. If you've made it here, you can make it anywhere. Final words as we say goodbye. especially to those Ugandans, those ones who are online always making your life very complicated.
No one makes my life complicated,
Yeah.
but it's, shout out for the support. Sometimes you make work, you don't even know how it will be received. But your people reach out and say that was a good story. And for me, that is very humbling. And some people will just support you regardless. Something will happen, so it's kind of, no, I don't care. Whether it's true or not, no, it's not him.
It's not him. I hear you.
That's invaluable. You cannot get
Quite,
it anywhere.
quite.
And so I'm grateful.
Gratitude. I love that. And on that note, I too am grateful because from the lessons that he shares, I get to learn and you get to learn. This is Rated You. We're always grateful, always glad. Don't forget to leave me your feedback in the comment section. This is Live Life TV, Kitui Flow with Canary. Have a lovely day.